The Winklevoss twins versus Mark Zuckerberg for defraud in the second degree. I am accusing Mark as the Winklevoss twin prosecutor. First of all, I'll be explaining about what this case is about and how this relates to Mark Zuckerberg's action. The case of defraud in the second degree goes against Mark Zuckerberg's action as the Winklevoss twins complaints. As it says in the relevant law, it is stated, guilty of a scheme to defraud in the second degree when he engages in a scheme constituting systematic ongoing course of conduct with intent to defraud more than one person. On November 15, 2003, Mark and the Winklevoss twins had a contract. They shook their hand for their contract of making a new site that the twins were working on, the Harvard Connection. The twins had explained that the site was mainly about and how Mark can help them. The Harvard Connection was a site for only the Harvard students where they can find each other on the website and share information and maybe go on a date they get on. How the system worked was the students can post pictures of themselves, put their personal information, and so on. The twins gave Mark the time to use the website however he wanted to make his social situation better. However, the problem was that Mark was not helping their website at all by telling them that he's busy and working on something else or he just does not have time for it. And now I'll be talking about the issues. When the Winklevoss twins and Mark Zuckerberg had their contract, Mark did not tell the twins that he was working on his own website, FaceMash. In my opinion, he could have told them about that so that he could have a reason for not having time working on the Harvard Connection. However, he did not. It is because he did not want the twins to notice that he stole their ideas and used for his own website and program. The similarities of the ideas of the Harvard Connection and the Facebook are that the people can link with one another, put their personal information, and so on. Mark made excuses between the 52 emails between him and the twins. On page 87, Mark emails them saying, got some classwork I have to get done. Be back very soon. I forgot to bring my charger home with me for Thanksgiving. And also there's, sorry, it's been taking me a while to get back to. I'm completely swamped with work this week. I have 3 programming projects and a final paper due date, as well as a couple of problems to Friday. All these kinds of mail have been sent to the twins and they got suspicious about it. The twins had been meeting together at Mark and they started to get orderly disappointed. It took many weeks for them to wait and Tyler started to notice that maybe Mark is just not interested in making the site by telling them an excuse. Mark had even started to get more confusing as it says on page 89, stating that some of the work he still needed to do to get the site that was boring stuff. He reiterated that the site was lacking functionality. By looking at his movements, we can tell that he's trying to run away from the Winklevoss twins. The twins even sent Mark an email saying that Mark has stalled the development of the website while developing his own website. Even if Mark was trying to compete against them, making them feel like he's smarter than everyone else, as it says on page 82, the Winklevoss twins says that it is an unfair competition. On page 115, there is where it says the Facebook was not related to the tiny bit of work he'd done for the Winklevoss. This is just an excuse for Mark saying that the Facebook and the Harvard Connection is not related to anything at all. Even though the name is different, Mark had included their goal. Even though the Winklevoss twins warned Mark that they had prepared to petition the school's administrative board regarding his breach of ethical standards of conduct as it is stated in the student handbook. However, he replies that these 2 websites have not related to anything. On page 116, Mark writes, I told you that I had other projects that I was working on, and those were higher priorities than finishing your site. However, as far as I know, Mark had never said that to them before they got into a contract. Stealing ideas by lying to more than one person is cause to be guilty, as it says in the scheme to defraud in the second degree. And this is why Mark is guilty for defrauding the Winklevoss twins' ideas.
Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss versus Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is accused of being defrauded in the second degree by Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. To defraud in the second degree means a person is guilty of engaging in a scheme constituting a systematic, ongoing course of conduct with intent to defraud more than one person or to obtain property from more than one person by false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises, and so obtains property from one or more such persons. The Winklevosses are suing Mark Zuckerberg for stealing their idea of making a social network. 2 years before Facebook was made, the Winklevoss twins came up with an idea of making a social network called the Harvard Connection. The Harvard Connection was for an online meeting place where Harvard guys and girls could find each other, share information, and connect. Although the sharing information, the connecting, and for the how only used throughout Harvard are similar, Facebook later on was used to connect with people around other universities, high schools, and other places other than Harvard. It was also to connect with people you knew and become friends with them, not to just connect for a relationship. When Mark was asked to help out with this program, he agreed by accepting a handshake, but he never signed a contract, which means there's no proof of accusing Mark of really helping out with their website. Tyler and Cameron did not specifically tell Mark the offer and acceptance of Harvard connection, making it harder for even having a treaty in the first place. Also, the Winklevosses are saying Mark has stolen their property by stealing their idea of a social network, but there are many people who are trying to make a similar site like Facebook. Just because they had the similar ideas, but only Mark's actually succeeded, doesn't mean that Mark has stolen their idea. Even though the Winklevosses were able to make their own ideal website, Connect You, they're still attached to Facebook. If they were able to launch what they wanted, then why are they still complaining that Facebook is their idea? Mark created Facebook with the help of a different person and not them. Mark didn't borrow money from the Winklevosses because the site Facebook did not have to do anything with the Harvard connection. It was a site Mark was inventing on his own, which the twins were not involved in. If it was for Harvard connection, he would have borrowed from the twins. Since there's no money borrowed from them, then there's no meaning of Mark being accused of defrauding the second degree.